What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of our Chicago White Sox franchise. Today we will be facing the Baltimore Orioles, and they have also not had a very good start to the season. We are 4-10, they're 6-8, and as you can see, we have a couple batteries who are doing pretty good, but for the most part, we're a little bit below par where we want to be. Andrew Benintendi is batting 167, and Yoan Moncada is just at 200. We do at least have Eloy Jimenez, who's almost at 400, but who knows if that's sustainable, but hopefully those other guys can get their averages back up to where we need them to be. The boys are hyped. We're looking for another good day out of Michael Kopech, who had a pretty good start in the last episode, but it was disappointing towards the end as especially the bullpen really let us down, and we ended up losing a close game to the San Francisco Giants. Kopech would start off the day pretty well here with a very nice slider to get Jorge Mateo, the leadoff batter, out. We cut then to Adam Frazier, their second batter in the lineup, and he would actually walk, which is not great. We want to see more control out of all of our pitchers. Namely Michael Kopech and Dylan Cease, who we've seen so far lacking control, but it wouldn't matter. We'd get out of the inning with Elvis Andrus fielding and getting that ball to Tim Anderson cleanly. Today we are up against Dean Kramer, who has also not shared a very good start to the season today. 7.45 ERA, that is very bad, but it's very early in the season, a little too early for stats like that. As we'll cut to our third batter of the day, Luis Robert Jr., and he's going to start off with a pretty solid hit, getting a nice single there. Then we'll go to Eloy Jimenez, our best batter so far this year, and what a hit. That could be gone, but it is not going to quite be gone. It bounces in front of the wall. The outfielder's able to get there. Not quite a home run. It's going to bounce just in front of the wall, but it's a very nice double for Eloy Jimenez, sliding into second as Luis Robert Jr. moves from first to third. You can see here is well hit, bounced up off the wall, just not quite out like we would want. Yoan Moncada coming up to see what he can do. He gets a pretty good contact on it, or he pops it up pretty much to pretty near side of the outfield. It wasn't actually that good, but it looked good coming off the bat. Moncada would show off his fielding skills here, getting a double play with Michael Kopech, getting him to ground out there, and we get cleanly out of the second inning very quickly. Good day so far for Kopech, not allowing anything but one hit, and he would then get a double play like this to get us out of that inning. Very good stuff from Moncada to Andrews, getting it to Andrew Vaughn. Good fielding, good passing from everybody. Good stuff. Move forward now as Andrew Vaughn has to tie his shoes like a kindergartner before getting up to the plate to hit on Dean Kramer, and let's pop it up into the infield. Why not? It's just not been a great hitting day to start off for our White Sox here, and we'll skip here to the top of the third now as Kopech is going to continue trying to get hot, and it's not going to work out too well with that one bouncing in front of Colas in the outfield for a nice single. And then he would hit the curve there, and Moncada would fail to field it. Their man's not going to be able to advance to third, but we're definitely not getting the out at first. Kopech would recover a little bit, striking out Austin Hayes, and then striking out Ryan Mountcastle to get out of the inning cleanly. That one was a little scary with the slider right down the middle, but he got out of it. And we'll skip forward here to the bottom of the third, no outs. Oscar Colas up to the plate to hit on Dean Kramer, and let's see what the young guy can do. He's had a pretty good start to the season, and this curveball just below the zone is going to be good enough to hit as he makes his way to first. Tim Anderson up at the plate now as Colas thought about stealing but regrets that decision and gets back just in time. That was close, but it looks like he came up a little bit gimpy following that play. Colas would have to be removed from the game. Hopefully it's not anything worse than a couple days. Billy Hamilton would come on to pinch run. We know he's fast, he's great at fielding, he's just not a very good hitter, but he's who we have available, and we like a good fielder as we lack defensive ability. A great hit here from Tim Anderson as he gets that one well into the outfield. A single for him, but he advances Billy Hamilton all the way from first to third, so we've got 85 speed on third now. Just need Andrew Benintendi to try to hit him home. Benintendi up to the plate. He's had a very rough start to the season, hitting 167, and that looked like a solid enough hit, but then a great play by Jorge Mateo at shortstop, flipping it back to his second baseman. 6-4-3 double play. What a play by those guys. We were able to advance Billy Hamilton to home. Billy Hamilton would stay in the outfield here. I figured having good defense in the field would be good for us because we just don't have a lot of good defense, like I said, as Michael Kopech is going to strike Anthony Santander off to start the fourth inning. A very good look as Gunnar Henderson comes up to the plate, and he would get him to strike out on the fastball as well. Clean run through the fourth inning as Kopech looks really good, and there's our guy back from the last episode. This guy is always here for the strikeouts with Michael Kopech, and Kopech is looking really good to start the day. Sepi Zavala is here to start off the bottom of the fifth inning, and that is a great hit for our catcher against right-handed pitchers, of course, him and Yasmani Grandal platooning this season. And that is such a good hit for a guy who's had a really good start to the season, hitting .320. Very good start. And Elvis Andrus has also had a solid start, and he's going to get that one to plop down just in front of the outfielder. Zavala wasn't sure it would actually hit the ground, so he did not run ahead as Billy Hamilton comes up to the plate and does that swing. He would get a very good pitch to hit here, though, and he would hit it, getting it past the first baseman, and it's going to be pretty close at home as they sent him. Sebi Zavala on 25 speed actually makes it, and I don't think that catcher made the tag. Let's get another look at this here, and he would throw it into his first baseman, who would then get it into the catcher, but that would not be enough time for the catcher to make the tag as he's just too slow. Zavala sliding right past him. We're going to ignore his hand, clipping through Zavala's shoulder. I'm sure he's fine. We would continue the inning with a decent-looking hit by Benintendi up the middle, but again, this one's just not going to work out for him as he is out. But Billy Hamilton, a guy who came on to pinch run because of an injury to our young outfielder, and he's able to get an RBI with that fantastic hit past the first baseman. Mountcastle up to swing here at the top of the 6th, and Kopech would throw that really high. I think that would be the end of Kopech's day, as he looks pretty good, but he was really close to 100 pitches, and we just don't want to see that lack of control start to hit us too late here. We've got a lead, and we really want to hold it, but it's a close game, and we're just trying to get some momentum here. So Garrett Crochet comes in, a 6 ERA to start the season, but again, it's really early, and he would show some leadership, get through the inning. Oh no, he wouldn't, because Tim Anderson would have an error at second, failing to get us the double play that would get us out of the inning, so Crochet's got to stay out there. Anderson fields this one cleanly, has an easy throw to first, and plenty of time to make it, but he has another error. 2 in a row for Tim Anderson, 2 errors in a row. This is what I'm talking about with our defense being terrible, but it wouldn't matter as Garrett Crochet gets us out of the 6th inning, out of the top of the 6th there with another great strikeout at the bottom of the zone. Keegan Aiken is going to come on here, the lefty, for Baltimore, and what a terrible time to put him on as Luis Robert Jr. is here to hit the curveball at the bottom of the zone. He gets a good hit on it. Would have liked it a little further, maybe out of the park, but it's enough to get him to first. Eloy Jimenez would get a great pitch to hit here with a circle change towards the bottom middle of the zone, but he's just not able to get good contact on it, and he will strike out, leaving Luis Robert stranded on first as Yohan Moncada, who's had a real rough start to the season, comes up, but he gets a curveball right down the middle and is not able to do anything with it. And that rough start's just going to continue. Top of the 7th inning now, we've got a couple guys warming up into the bullpen, as you saw, Aaron Bummer and Kendall Graveman getting ready to come in the game if Crochet needs the help, but he's going to stay in for the top of the 7th here. Ooh, gets this one, but it's well hit. Will Robert be able to get there? He is. Great hustle by Luis Robert Jr., something we didn't see a couple weeks ago in real life, but so far in this series, he's doing all right for us. And Crochet will get the next guy to fly out to Benintendi in left field as well. Adam Frazier's now up, hoping for the last out of the inning here as Crochet gets him to strike out with a fastball high up. He just can't hit it. No contact there. A great job by Crochet. 2 innings out of him. 2 2/3 innings out of him, and a great job. We'll skip forward here now to the top of the 8th inning as Reynaldo Lopez, our setup guys, coming in. Already 1 game under his belt, and by 1 game, I mean literally 1/3 of an inning. He would make a good pitch here to Mountcastle as Grandal would easily get under the pop-out and catch that one very nicely as Ramon Urias came up, and the slider to the outside of the box is going to be a great throw, great breaking ball far away, and he swings at it, making an easy out in a 1-2-3 inning for Reynaldo Lopez, our setup man. CNL Perez would come in then for the Orioles here at the bottom of the 8th, and he's getting Billy Hamilton to swing way early on that slider. I think he had a faster pitch the pitch before, so just good pitch strategy there for him as Tim Anderson would go out looking on that same slider to the outside of the zone. And then the slider again, this time getting Andrew Benintendi, who has continued to struggle today. And it's a clean 1-2-3 inning for a very, very good player in CNL Perez. Now to the 9th inning as Liam Hendriks is going to come in to try to close this game out for us. He's had a pretty solid start to the season for us. He did have that loss in the last episode where everything unraveled late in the game, but he would start this one off pretty well, getting a foul ball that Benintendi tried to run towards, and nothing's going to come of it. But the next pitch, he would fly out to Robert Jr., Anthony Santander, not able to make anything happen on this one as Liam Hendriks gets the first out, looking for a save. Gunnar Henderson up next, and he would swing at that first fastball and then swing at another one to the outside. He just cannot get Gunnar Henderson out here as he gets a ball on the knuckle curve. And then he would get him to, oh man, Billy Hamilton's going to have to really sprint to this one. It's going to be close, but Hamilton is able to get there, stretching his arm out, getting that ball to land in his glove. What a great play by Billy Hamilton, the pinch runner substitute for Oscar Colas' injury earlier in the game. Hendriks pitching to Luis Torrens now, a decent catcher, playing instead of Adley Rutschman today, something I don't really understand. Maybe Rutschman's hurt, but it wouldn't matter. Torrens would fly out to left field where Benintendi would make the easy catch, and the White Sox would win this game 2-0 over the Baltimore Orioles, two teams who have started their season struggling as Robert fakes Hamilton out a little bit there. But a great job by our White Sox to see that game out, get a shutout. Kopech pitched a great game, gets the win over Dean Kramer, and Liam Hendriks gets his third save of the season already. So a happy Jackie Robinson day to us as we would get the win here. Everybody's sporting that classic number 42 for a man that we all respect so much in this sport. What a fun day for our guys. 8 hits to their 4, 2 runs to their 0, and a great job especially from Billy Hamilton having to come in for Kolas, who pulled up injured. It would look like in the injury report it was nothing to worry about. He wouldn't miss any more game time after that one game. I think it was just a bruised hip if I recall correctly. So Kolas is going to be alright as he continues to get some playing time and try to improve a decent start to his rookie season where he's batting about .239 right now. Nothing too bad. Unfortunate to see him go down at all, and hopefully that does not become a trend as we know this team has so many injury struggles. But our notable players for the day would be Seby Zavala, Luis Robert Jr., Eloy Jimenez, and Billy Hamilton. But our player of the game would be Michael Kopech. 5 innings, 4 hits, but 9 strikeouts and only 2 walks. A very solid day. He was taken out when he was just because he had just thrown that walk, and we didn't want to start seeing him losing control and losing confidence as he had such a good game, and we just want to build that confidence up here early in the season. Kramer, of course, taking another pretty hard loss for the Orioles, who have not started this season off very well, now going down to 6-9 as we come up to 5-10. A decent enough start, and Kopech's ERA now down to a very clean 3. We would at least sweep the Baltimore Orioles in that series that we just played the second game of, coming out with a 5-0 victory in the next game after that. Dylan Cease pitching a great game. But then we would immediately get swept by the Phillies. None of them too bad. 7-2 is a little bit of a blowout, but not too bad. And we would even get a couple wins in our 2 series against Tampa Bay. We would even be able to beat Toronto in a series with 3 wins in that one towards the end of the month. And it's not the start we wanted this season. Definitely not a good start to the season, but it could be worse as we're only 6 games back from 500, and it's definitely very possible that we could find our way back into this one. I've also taken a couple of the comments and suggestions I've gotten from you guys. I looked at some players like Gleyber Torres, Austin Hedges. Austin Hedges I don't think is going to be good enough. Probably, I think he was a 63 overall. I forgot to grab a screen grab of that. But Gleyber Torres, he's tearing up a little bit at the beginning of the season. He looks really good, so I'm not sure the Yankees would really want to deal him. But definitely a player I would look at if I'm looking for a solid option. We've got Elvis Andrus for this season, definitely not beyond this season, and that is a position we need to strengthen, but I'm not sure we'll be able to get him. But I do like the look of the player. I've also seen some guys like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa as well. Perhaps he would be available on the trade block. Last year of his deal with about $6 million. A very solid contact hitter and a decent defender. I think he could be a very good bit part player for us in several different utility positions. As those are a couple guys we could definitely look at as the season progresses, but it's a little too early to start making moves right now. For the rest of this episode, I want to do something a little bit different. Instead of playing 2 major league games today, I'm going to play the 1 major league game, and then I'm going to do a quick roundup of 2 minor league games. These are going to be really quick sets of highlights from these games, not as long and in-depth as the other games from the MLB. But I just want to get a look at some of the young players who have a little bit of potential in this organization. As we know, the Chicago White Sox have the worst minor league system in the MLB statistically. A lot of players that don't look like they have a ton of potential, but there are a couple players I'm interested in. Starting right here in AAA with starting pitcher Sean Burke. He was the ace of our staff on the AAA staff at the beginning of the season, still is, and he has pitched great through 44 innings with 44 strikeouts, a 1.43 ERA, and a .80 WHIP. That is incredible numbers. He's doing such a good job, and if our pitching staff looks terrible in the MLB, maybe he'll look at a call-up later in the season to the MLB because he looks much better than I expected for a guy who is at 66 overall with only C potential. Now, like I said, getting into this game, we do not have a ton of talent in our minor league system. As you can see, a lot of these guys are struggling below a 200 average for 3 different batters in this lineup at the AAA level. Just not a lot of guys you could see as contributors, and even Victor Reyes, the one guy I liked, did not have a great start, batting about .217 right now. But we're here to look at Sean Burke, whose numbers to start this season have been fantastic, like I said. And he would start the day off with a really nice strikeout, make that 2 strikeouts, that one against Jordan Grosjean's, batting .351 so far this season, and he would clean up with a 1-2-3 inning, all 3 on strikeouts, and the umpire would say, hey man, let me check that glove, let me check those hands for any sticky stuff. He looked so good. Playing today up against Edward Cabrera, a player who has had a little bit of experience in the major leagues with some injury problems, I believe, and just hasn't been as good as he could be. He would allow 1 base hit from Hanser Alberto, but Victor Reyes would immediately ground into a double play, and he would get out of the inning cleanly. We'll move forward now to the top of the second as Sean Burke would continue to play really well, this time showing some serious hustle, getting off the mound, getting to first base to make sure that that was a clean ground out. And then he would throw that low fastball, get their man looking, and get out of the inning cleanly once again with another 1-2-3 inning as Hanser Alberto here at the bottom of the fourth, skipping way forward, gets yet another base hit. He looked really good contact-wise today as our leadoff batter. And Victor Reyes here taking a swing on an outside circle change. He grounded out into that double play earlier in the game, and we're hoping he won't do that again as Edward Cabrera, 50 pitches deep, looking really good today, but not good enough to stop that as Victor Reyes gets a perfect hit, sending that one right out into the concession stands. What a great job he's done there. Batting in 2 runs with that one. His first home run of the season, going 406 feet. Cabrera threw that one, and it was just a little bit too down the middle. Left it hanging for Reyes, who ripped that one well beyond the fence for his first homer of the year and our first runs of the day. 406 feet, like I said, right into those concession stands. A free ball for someone, sending out some food, getting some food. Good for them, and we would immediately come up 1 out later. Stephen Piscotty, our 4th hitter of the day. He absolutely crushes that one onto the roof of a building just beyond our outfield. That is such a good hit. Not a lot of contact from Stephen Piscotty, very low contact ratings in fact, but decent enough power, especially for the minor leagues. Definitely a guy I don't think will be on this team beyond this year. He's a little bit too old, making a little bit too much money. He's just in the minor leagues. He's not good enough for the majors, but that was a great home run. Moving to the top of the 5th now as Sean Burke would open up with a strikeout high up in the zone there and would move forward against TJ Hinojosa and would get another strikeout. The breaking ball, just a little bit too much for Hinojosa at the bottom of the zone. And then another strikeout. Sean Burke is a machine today. That low curveball, just good enough to get another strikeout, getting the batter to swing at it, and the play to the first base would be clean. We've got some guys in the bullpen warming up just in case, and maybe we will have to use them. As at the top of the 7th here, we see a base hit for Charles LeBlanc, but they would challenge and try for a double, and a great play by our left fielder would get the out. There would then immediately be another base hit here on a 1-2 count for Troy Johnston as Sean Burke just works to get back into this game, but he would get Austin Allen there. What a great pitch at the very bottom of the zone, clipping the edges and getting him out. Here at the top of the 9th, still in the game, well over 100 pitches, but playing so confidently, we just cannot take him out. That slider is nasty, and at 134 pitches now, Hazley is able to make that play. We saw him with a really delayed reaction on that play that went into the field earlier, but it doesn't matter. Now, he would allow a base hit here, but we're top of the 9th, still running off of a 3-0 lead that we built up from that really nice 4th inning where we had 2 different home runs. Getting into the very last batter of the day here, Sean Burke throws a curveball towards the outside of the zone, and what a good pitch that is. We'll round up the win, well over 100 pitches, closing in on 140, and what a great day. Just some nasty stuff. You see that one, getting batters out looking, had them swinging on breaking balls, fastballs, everything. Attempted a check swing there for that guy, wasn't good enough. What a great day, and Victor Reyes caps it off. Gets us the win with that homer he hit to get us 2 runs. Piscotty adding 1 extra in that same inning, as it would take that 1 inning would be all we need. As Sean Burke just absolutely killed it. You can see I recorded this actually a little bit before the stats I was showing you earlier, but he had 17 strikeouts on the day. That is insane. Only 27 outs in the entire game, and 17 of them were strikeouts for this guy, as he goes a full game shutout. Sean Burke, what a great way to look at this prospect. A guy that if we pull anybody up to the majors this year, I would say it will be him if his statistics stay anything like what they are right now. Did allow 5 hits, as you can see, but Reyes, Piscotty, and Alberto get us out of this one. The 2 homers from Reyes and Piscotty. Alberto with a couple ground hits as our leadoff hitter. A decent enough day. The offense did not look great, but it was enough with Sean Burke having an incredible performance. Getting into the Double-A team now, I want to get a look at a couple of these batters, mainly Wes Kath and Romy Gonzalez. Brian Ramos is somebody who interests me a little bit, and Sebastian Rivero is the best hitter we've got on the team so far. But the main tipping point is, of course, Christian Mina, a guy that I want to see where his potential leads us to, our highest potential pitcher in the organization with a B potential, of course, and he has had a fantastic start to the season with a 3.3 ERA, just looking very solid overall. Getting into this game, as we try to get a look at the team at the AA level, I'm hoping we can have a good, solid day out of some very good young potential prospects. Of course, we don't have a lot of great potential in our minor league system, as we have the worst minor league system in all of baseball, but our Birmingham Barons are going to take on the Chattanooga Lookouts today, as we will face Andrew Abbott, who has a 3.79 ERA to start off the year, and would start off looking pretty good, getting our guys to, pop out with high fastballs like this one here for Yolber Sanchez. Just a very good look for the second out of the first inning there, and then Wes Kath, somebody I am excited about, a young third baseman with decent hitting stats and great fielding stats, would strike out on the low ball there, way outside of the zone. Mina comes in now at 3.33 ERA to start off the season in 24 innings. He's looked really solid, and coming up against Matt McClain, who in real life just got called up to the major leagues, but here in AA in this game is going to strike out because he definitely went around. Drew Mount now up at the plate, and he would get a great hit as Romy Gonzalez not able to make the play fielding, but he would get to the ball, and it looks like they're going to try to test him as they send the man to third. A great relay by our guys. Romy Gonzalez gets the ball here way out at the warning track, gets it into Sanchez at second base, who would relay it into Wes Kath at third, and he would do a fantastic job applying the tag. That's some great defense that our major league team could never pull off. But also at the major league level, you're probably not going to see somebody like Drew Mount trying to test for a third base there. That's a very minor league thing to do. Testing throwers, testing arms that just aren't as good as they are at the major league level. Brian Ramos here would pop out into the very close outfield. Not really getting anywhere as Duke Ellis, a guy who's batting 300 here in the AA system, would strike out on a curveball way out of the zone. Andrew Abbott starting off this day really well as him and Mina kind of are having a bit of a pitcher's duel here. Mina getting a very good swing there. Matthew Nelson tried to hit it, but it was a fastball way outside of the zone. He just didn't get any contact. And McAfee then would come up swinging at that one low in the zone. Christian Mina, Mina's business. Yeah, I'm so sorry that I just made that joke, but he really does here, as I'm not sure what that swing was. Looked like a half bunt attempt thing, but it was a slider way out of the zone. Got the swing on a strikeout. We skip to the fourth here, where Mina faces Matt McClain, who this time would manage a single, but nothing more, as Drew Mount comes up, and he's going to strike there, but that would be a great steal for Matt McClain, beating out the catcher who just couldn't pop up in time. And then Drew Mount would strike out on another great pitch from Christian Mina, who started off the day really hot. Coming up against Michel Triana next, not sure how to say that name. He would strike him out with a really low fastball in the corner as well. The next hitter, Nicholas Northcutt, would come up with a hit as Romy Gonzalez is going to try to throw the runner out, but he would make it home. Matt McClain makes it all the way home on that one. Not a good enough throw from Gonzalez, who's having a decent day defensively. We would at least get out of the inning with another very good pinpoint accurate fastball to the corner, but they do manage one RBI. Up next will be Romy Gonzalez, who, like I said, is having a solid defensive day and would get really lucky to get this single here, just getting over that swing a little bit, getting over the pitch, and gets a base out of it very luckily. But then Brian Ramos getting an automatic double on a fantastic swing, barely fair, and it would bounce out to the outside of the fence there, and our first base coach for the minor league team getting hyped. Michael Turner then would come up and would get a ground out RBI. Hey, an RBI is an RBI, I guess. Shouldn't really swung at it. Wasn't a great swing, but again, gets the run, ties us up. We would start off the bottom of the sixth inning here with Christian Mina still pitching, and Alan Cerda would get a good hit to the corner there as Gonzalez would once again make a good enough defensive play not to allow them to get any further than second, as they are showing a little more respect to his arm. And we would get out of the sixth inning with that fantastic movement on the changeup, getting the swing and no contact. Brian Ramos comes up again here, and that's a very good hit, but a very good play by the center fielder. He's able to get there, and our guy on first would have to return to first. Nicholas Northcutt now coming up here at the bottom of the seventh, and Romy Gonzalez looks really good. I feel like I keep coming back to him and his defense, whether it be his arm or his catching and fielding. He's had a great day out there in right field. Not a prospect who looks like he has much to offer beyond this level as Christian Mina keeps dotting these corners, man. But he would then walk the next batter, and that would be it for his day, as he was a little bit over 100 pitches, and we just don't want to see him lose any confidence, much like the Michael Kopech substitution in the game earlier today against the Orioles. Andrew Dalquist would come up, a young guy who's having a really good start to the season with a 2.64 ERA, looks really solid. He would throw a really nice changeup, getting a good swing to get out of the seventh inning here. Matt Pedich would come on for the Chattanooga Lookouts, just trying to get him out of this game. He's also played in 10 games, 3.95 ERA, solid enough. And seeing a righty comes on means we can pinch hit Colson Montgomery, highest potential of anybody in our minor league system, the only one with A potential, and he would get pretty good hold of this one, but it's just not enough to get anywhere. The outfielder's able to get there easily, as we will skip way forward here to the 10th inning. That's right, we would go into extra innings in this one. And Lane Ramsey, the closer for our AA team, allows this single that would be enough. Wes Kath now playing in the outfield, as we had made some pinch run substitutions. They would walk it off on that single, getting their guy second all the way home. The throw from Kath way in the outfield, just not quite good enough to get him out at home. And the Lookouts, even though Christian Mina played such a good game, would get out of this one with the win. Lane Ramsey's pitch there, just too hittable, and Christian Mina and Andrew Abbott had a really good duel there today, a really good game, but at the end of the day, Chattanooga would get out of it. Our guys on offense just could never get anything going, no matter how good our young pitcher was. And Lane Ramsey finally allows a hit in the 10th inning. That would send their guy home. Up next, real quick, I want to talk about our coaching staff, and I'm not going to clear everything out. Like I said last episode and the episode before, I want to keep this series realistic as I can. So I want to talk about our coaching staff as we have started the season at 11-17. Pedro Griffo, for now, not going to get fired. That wouldn't make much sense. We're pretty close to 500. Our hitting coach, I'm also not going to change much, even though he's another guy that really lacks any upside. They're just not offering as much, and I think that's clear to see so far, but we're not going to make any big changes right now. Also, not to our pitching coach. Our pitchers have started okay enough. Lance Lynn's not had a great start, but other than him, we've been all right. Not going to touch any of that. If I was going to look to change anything in our coaching staff right now, it would be our first base coach, Daryl Boston, and our third base coach, Eddie Rodriguez, as those are the two guys that would be mainly responsible for any defensive errors and base running errors, both of which we have seen in the 3 games that we've played thus far in the season, and we've also seen in some of the stats we've looked at in other games. In our 11-17 record start to the season, we've just not looked good defensively at a lot of times, a lot of places, and we've also made some silly base running mistakes that are just dumb, and those are the two guys you'd look at for that. So if I was going to replace anybody in the coaching staff right now, it'd be those two guys, as I'd look to get some better reactions, better fielding from our guys, and just do some slight improvements there, because we've got to see the defense play better somehow. Anyway, guys, as I'm wrapping up this episode, the 3rd episode of our series, I want to let you know that we've simmed a couple days into the next month. We would end up losing that last game at the end of May against the Tampa Bay Rays, and then we would start this Minnesota series out 1-1. So I think I'm going to play this game. It's an in-division game against a team that is 18-13 and looks really solid so far this year. Pablo Lopez obviously looks fantastic with a 1.45 ERA, and Lance Lynn's ERA has gotten down a little bit from where it started, now at 4.86. But a guy who I really do want to see improve and do a lot better. I want to start the next episode playing with him, do a game with Lance Lynn as we try to see if he can improve. And hopefully we'll have a slightly better second month than the first month, but of course it could be worse. 12-19 is not terrible. Now 7 games back from 500. Hopefully we can do a little bit better. Ending this episode off, guys, I want to take a look at just some of the team stats for the entire league for this start to this month, especially where we're sitting in those stats. As you can see, in some of the stuff we're really high, and in some of it we're really low, and then other parts we're more towards the middle, which I guess is to be expected, especially this early in the season. But hits wise, batting average, we're doing pretty okay, but then runs wise, we're not able to finish runs. We're not able to bat guys in after we get on base, and that's a big problem, especially with our team. I feel like we've got some guys with really good clutch ratings and stuff that should be playing better than that, so hopefully that's something that will just improve without us having to do too much work to the lineup, as I just feel like that's something that we should be doing better at. And we're also not getting a lot of homers and triples and doubles. Well, actually doubles were 3rd in the league, but homers and triples, we're not seeing that much power from the team. Pitching, obviously, we're just okay. And a lot of middle-of-the-road stuff in these statistics. But it's, again, really early in the season, now at 12-19, and hopefully we'll see the guys improve. The next episode we'll get into the next month. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun doing it. Hopefully I'm improving with things like my commentary, knowledge, and all that, and I hope it is entertaining and fun for you guys to watch. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please like and subscribe, and keep a lookout for the next one.